Oh, it's a dreary March day. You can see where I normally run my RC has now turned into a swimming pool. It is raining. It's just starting to slow down right now. Still, no good. Too wet. My RC is not waterproof, so I'm not going to take the chance of ruining any of my electronics or the engine running it out there. So I figured I'd make a video and show you some of the upgrades and repairs that I did to my Stampede since I had it. As some of you may have known, I had a rough time with it when I first got it, breaking things and just having a really bad time with it. This was the spur gear when I got it. It's barely any teeth left on it. So I got a new spur gear and a few extra ones. This is the wiring harness for the Easy Start. Under this tape was frayed wires. Under the lead wire here was bare wires. That goes on the glow plug and ignites the glow plug automatically. And there was another spot somewhere here on the red wire that was bad. So I got a whole new wiring harness. There's the ground wire. I have everything run under this heat protective wrap there to keep the wires safe from the heat. And then when I was actually able to run it for the first time, I had an accident. It was my fault. It was my fault in a combination of bad luck, the way it landed. I didn't have the body on. I guess it mainly hit on the rear body mount, which I just put on, and it put a lot of stress and cracked this. This is the rear suspension mount. So I got a new one of those and put it on. And then it started driving when it shouldn't have been. It should have been idling, and the wheels are spinning, and it was braking. When I would brake, it would kill the engine. So I pulled the engine back out and pulled off the bell housing and found that my clutch spring, this end right here, has broken off the little tab that they have to hook to each other. So I put a new clutch spring and shoes in there. That fixed that. And then I was running it. I ran it for about 5 minutes, probably at the most. It flipped over once or twice, but I don't know if that contributed to this or if this just was on its way out. This isn't the actual one that broke. This is just a replacement, and I got 3 or 4 of these now. But one of these broke half shaft on this side, so truck was undrivable again. Made a trip out to the hobby shop, got a bunch of these as replacements, and I was running it and ran it for about 20 minutes, and I noticed it was kind of slipping, like the slipper clutch was slipping on it, but I noticed that wasn't the problem. I had tightened it down and everything, and it was still, the engine was revving and the car wasn't going anywhere. Every once in a while it would lurch forward, so I knew something major was wrong. I spun the tires and heard like a grinding, crunching noise coming from the transmission, so I pulled the car completely apart again. At this point I was getting pretty good at taking it apart and putting it together, and opened up the transmission, which I was a little afraid to. I didn't know what was in there, what was going to fall out and everything, but it was only, I think, 3 gears, 2 small ones and a big one. Nothing major. I found this right here. The gears are completely worn off. Overall, the gears are worn down pretty good. That's probably the original one that came on the truck, so it was probably on its way out, and some of my high-speed passes, I guess, just finished it off. So I replaced that. We had about a half hour to get to Camp Hill which was about 28 minutes away. So we made a really quick late night run because they were closing in a half hour. We actually made it there in 20 minutes, and we ended up getting one of the replacement for the idler gear, and I figured while I had it apart I would replace this gear as well. This one's metal, but I figured, you know, who knows, I might as well just replace it. It's only a couple bucks, so put one of those in. And then I was running it the next day, which was yesterday, when I actually made the Pede bashing video. And it was running, and all of a sudden I heard like a high-pitched noise when I would accelerate all the way, like something was slipping. I tried tightening up the slipper clutch. I made it as tight as I could, and it was still doing it. So again, the truck came apart just enough so I could get the slipper clutch off, inspected everything, put it back together. That took care of the problem. And then since then, knock on wood, the truck has been running great. I might have a couple tuning issues here and there yet, where sometimes it seems like when you accelerate almost at top speed, it's hard to get complete top speed out here because, I mean, there's plenty of area, but it's just so bumpy and there's so many crevices in the ground. And like that one right there was the cause of a pretty good accident yesterday when I was filming. I have that on YouTube, and it hits one of those bumps and it's going, and it's flipping and flipping, and possibility of breaking something. But I normally run it from down here up there, try to get a good high-speed pass, and I notice sometimes when it's close to its top speed it'll completely die or it'll kind of sputter. So I believe I'm probably running it a little rich, maybe. I'm not sure. The low speed needle seems to be set good. It passes the pinch test like it's supposed to, but seems like the high speed needle might be just a little bit rich. Probably not too much. It doesn't bog down on acceleration. It's just that once the top speed, sometimes it'll cut out. And yesterday, every once in a while, I wasn't running it on high speed passes. I was just kind of cruising around, so maybe I was loading the engine up with fuel. But when I would press the trigger all the way back, it would die. So I kind of had to ease into it or it would die. So I believe there's a couple tuning issues here and there. But otherwise, I was able to make that video yesterday, which turned out good. I'm happy with. Got it uploaded.